Well, efforts to save dozens of whales breached on Western Australia's south coast are continuing this morning. Authorities say 51 of the 97 whales have now died. Reporter Daniel Mercer joins us now with the latest. Dan, what is the situation where you are at the moment with respect to the beaching?
Well, as you can see, there are a number of people in the water, about 40 of them volunteers, the remainder wildlife officers who are trying to rescue animals that are still alive by taking them out to deeper water here at Cheynes Beach and get them in a pod together, which wildlife experts say gives them a better chance of swimming off and surviving. That's been the task so far today, and Parks and Wildlife here in Western Australia say that's going to be the priority today, along with keeping people safe. A number of the whales have died, though, as you mentioned.
Yeah, it's really shocking and so saddening to see what's going on behind you. Would it be right to assume that today's efforts will all just be about getting those beach whales that are still alive back into the water?
Yeah, today is definitely a day for the rescue of as many of the whales as is possible. They beached themselves yesterday evening, and it was a pretty sort of exhausting and tireless effort overnight by Parks and Wildlife to rescue or keep alive as many of the whales as possible. The volunteers that have joined the authorities today are obviously going to help in a pretty significant way. There were many hundreds more, I believe, who registered an interest to help that have not necessarily been needed yet. Of course, though, there is a window of opportunity in which to save the animals, and once that window closes, authorities will be turning their mind to recovery operations that will be required afterwards, and to that end they may need to remove some of the animals later today and certainly tomorrow.
Daniel, we know that this has been an effort ongoing this week, but particularly overnight. What have some of the Parks and Wildlife people been telling you, and how is their mood? Are they quite exhausted by this stage, having worked throughout the night?
Definitely. A number of the officers that I've spoken to were very exhausted indeed. I mean, they hadn't slept a wink, obviously, and it had been a long and very cold night. It's the middle of winter. The sun might be out now, but it was pretty bitterly cold overnight, especially when you're in the water off the Southern Ocean in July. I think there's hope, certainly, from a lot of the people here that they can rescue a number of the animals today. A lot of the animals are still alive, and as you may be able to tell behind me, they're taking them to deeper water all the time. So there is certainly a lot of hope, and I think they're going to just try to get as many of them to deeper water and away, and hopefully to safety as is possible within the time available.
Finally, Daniel, the weather will be a critical part in this rescue operation. What is being forecast there where you are? Do you expect that the operation that's going on right behind you right now will continue throughout the day?
Yeah, today is really critical because there's a pretty significant storm coming through later on today and into this evening, and there'll be much colder weather in behind it tomorrow. So I think authorities are acutely aware of those circumstances. They've got the numbers on the beach to try to get the job done today to the best of their abilities, and so it's really all hands on deck.